The following video will provide an overview demonstration of the capabilities of the budgeting and forecasting application from Proven Optics built on the ServiceNow platform. Let's begin. The Flexible Budgeting Portal supports both a top-down as well as a bottoms-up approach to budgeting. If I need to create a budget, I can simply navigate to this form within the portal, establish the key pieces of information around my budget formulation request, as being indicated here, as well as establish the underlying expense driver for this budget item. This has a corresponding relationship to an influence lever on the back end of the solution. More on that in just a moment. Similarly, I'm going to be able to establish the impact to the rest of the business that this particular budget formulation record is going to have. That's going to be indicated here. Now that we've captured the input from a budgeting perspective, let's talk about the management of the budget. This brings us into the budgeting workspace. Here, budget owners can easily manage their budgets via a very Excel-like experience, where they can simply tab through the various fiscal periods where they need to make adjustments to the budgeted amounts. And because we're built on the ServiceNow platform, it's extremely easy to make comments, as well as mention other users that we may need to collaborate with. When additional definition is necessary around how the money is going to be spent, this is going to be accomplished via a capability of the budgeting application called Sublines, and we'll see some examples of that being indicated here. So that if I'm wanting to break out first year subscription cost as well as implementation as part of a software implementation project that we have, I can easily note that here within our budgeting application. Now, an additional capability that is extremely valuable is the ability of creating baseline budgets within our tool. Here I simply target the fiscal year that I'm going to use to form my baseline, as well as filter down the various budget records that make up that particular budget. So in this case, we're selecting expense drivers that are indicated as being base run costs. Once I identify the appropriate grouping of records, what I'm going to do is select a budget fiscal year that we're creating the baseline budget for. From here, I simply click Save, and then there's an automation that runs in the background of Proven Optics to create that budget for me. So rather than starting from scratch each and every year, we have a starting point and then fine-tune adjust from there. Now that we've explored how we create budgets, manage them, and create baseline budgets, let's talk about how we associate general ledger expenses to the budgets that we've got planned. This occurs via the budget key definition capability of the Proven Optics application, where we establish a relationship via these field mappings indicated here between the general ledger expense data and the budget formulation record. So that ultimately what this is able to provide us is a clear picture around variance. By accessing the variance report from the portal, we can easily see how Proven Optics is providing us with visibility into the items that we budgeted for, their descriptions, the approved budget amount, the actuals that we've recognized via the budget key definition capability, and then ultimately the variance between those two figures. This ability to establish a link between actual expense and budget records also informs our forecasting capabilities within the solution. So to explore those, let's jump into the forecasting workspace. Now the forecasting workspace has a very similar look and feel to the budgeting workspace, but in this case we're going to be able to visualize where we've spent some money.
Within the forecasting workspace, users can see the portion of the budget that they're responsible for, as well as any expenses that have been realized against those budget formulation records. From here, it's easy to forecast how we see the rest of the year playing out, giving us a clear sense of how much money we have left to spend. As is the case with each component of the Proven Optics Financial Management Suite, establishing transparency or visibility into the pieces of data being captured by the application is crucial to assist our customers in the decision-making process they're going to make. Here we can see how we establish transparency into the full year forecast, budget, and variance of an organization, as well as this ability of knitting together the three key components of the budget and forecasting application, in this case, actuals, forecast, and budget. So what this visualization is presenting to us is exactly where do we sit from an actuals perspective so far this year. This is leveraging the budget key definition capability that we covered previously in the video. Additional to that particular capability, we can also see the forecast values that are being generated from across the organization over the course of the forecast activities that are going to take place. And then finally, the trend line above this particular bar chart is showing how do these values compare to the way that our organization originally anticipated things to occur from a budget perspective. We have additional examples of visualizations that are very easy to create within the tool from an impact analysis as well as an expense type trending perspective. It should be noted that due to the core reporting and dashboarding capabilities of ServiceNow, there can be additional drill down or drill through views established as well as control around who sees what when they log into the solution. Thank you for the time you've invested in viewing this overview demonstration of the budgeting and forecasting application from Proven Optics. For additional questions, please reach out to us via our website or LinkedIn.